The next one is Hargol Food Tech.
Shalom, everyone. My name is Dor Tamir, co-founder and CEO of Hargol Food Tech from Israel, and we are the first company in the world to reach commercial scale production of an alternative protein source from grasshoppers. We all know that global demand for protein is expected to double over the coming decades, and we are also aware to the fact that existing protein sources are reaching their limitations. So we are all witnessing a race in the world to develop alternative protein sources, but these new sources suffer from their own set of limitations. Hargol's mission is to deliver a healthier protein and more efficient, healthier for humans, healthier for the environment, in a safer and more efficient process. And we do that with grasshoppers because they are nature's most efficient protein source. Only 3 spoons of our product is the entire daily protein intake of an adult, and that's incredible. Grasshoppers provide superior nutritional content with over 70% whole protein and nutrient rich in omega-3, omega-6, omega-9, iron, zinc, folic acid, calcium, and more. They're also neutral in taste and flavor, which makes them the perfect ingredient for the food and beverage industry just to blend into a wide range of food products. And genetically wise, they have a tendency to swarm, so they are perfect for intensive farming. Grasshoppers have an amazing impact on the environment, or actually almost no impact. 20 times more efficient than producing beef, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, water consumption, and arable land usage. And most importantly, they provide a wide range of health benefits to consumers, from supporting growth, improving metabolism, reducing sugar levels, reducing body fat, and more. Grasshoppers already have demand all over the world, and they are the only kosher and halal insect out there. Hargol is today the world's first grasshopper protein producer, and we do that with the technology we develop that enable us to grow them year-round in a climate-controlled environment with accelerated incubation of the eggs, increasing the number of annual life cycles from 1 to 10, and vertical farming that increases production per square feet by 10 times. We are also developing new grasshopper breeds through crossbreeding that are more efficient to produce, which will eventually make us the most efficient animal-based protein. We are already producing in Israel, and we have a very experienced and diversified management team in entomology, food regulation, marketing, finance, and strategy. What we are already offering to food producers around the world is our Pro 72 nutrient-rich protein ingredient. We are the new meat. We can replace existing meat. We can replace plant protein in a variety of food products. And we do that in a B2B business model through joint ventures with leading food producers. We already signed agreements with the largest food producer in Israel, Tnuva, and we are producing with them a line of sports applications. And we expect to launch new products and also commercial pilots with leading companies from Asia, US, Europe, and Israel. You can just see this slide, the variety of products, from meat replacement products to plant protein replacement products to nutritional supplements and beverages that we already have prototypes and we expect to launch in the markets over the coming years. So if you're looking for something that is the new meat and you want to take a bite from the future, well, come talk to me because we have something very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting you last year at the UNDP Salivate Challenge. So excellent work at how you've shown the validation of your product in a range of food. So yeah, I think the first question is, I think everyone is wondering as well, is how do you, let's say, overcome, the yuck factor when it comes to, let's say, insect protein? And, how do you kind of convince consumers as well as, B2B clients to utilize this, your new line of products?
Thank you for the question. Very important one. And actually, this is the major challenge for the edible insect industry. Well, let's start with the fact that about 1 billion people across the world in Asia, Africa, Central America, and the Middle East already consume insects, and mainly grasshoppers. This is the most widely eaten insect. Just as an example, in Saudi Arabia, grasshoppers can reach $300 per kilogram. So we have existing markets to start operating at. Now, in order to bring those products to other countries, the first step is just to get rid from the look of the animal, meaning use them as an ingredient in food products, and this is the first step. Second step is educate consumers, and it's a too big task for a startup, and this is why we are working with the leading food producers. For them, it's mainly about market validation. I will give just one example because it differs from one market to another. In China, grasshoppers are perceived as a traditional medicine. Over 90% of Chinese will not eat a whole grasshopper, but over 90% of Chinese do know about the health benefits. So this is why we are working with Chinese bride food on two different products. One is a meat replacement product based on the grasshoppers of traditional Chinese dishes. And the second one is a nutritional supplement, and just the basic knowledge of the consumers can help us push the product. And if I'm talking about Europe and the US, it is mainly about the health benefits that the grasshoppers provide. By reducing sugar levels faster, they have the potential to prevent diabetes. And sorry about that, but mainly to women, we already know from the research that they reduce body fat, and that's a goal for most women.
And then just a last question. Do you have any letters of intent with food producers that are willing to use your product for their future pipeline?
We have more than that. We already have a signed joint venture with Nuva, the largest food producer in Israel. We have a signed LOI with B-Board from Argentina that will be distributing our products and new products they will develop across Asia, Europe, and the Americas. And we are in pilots with Bright Food that I mentioned, and also Coca-Cola US.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I think this is genius. You created the next 20 years protein supply of whole world. But I agree with the previous panelists also. There is a yuck factor that although Southeast Asia may be ready for this kind of insect feeding, but in the Western world, you're saying Middle East is the halal food, but Middle East people also have some kind of yuck factor against the insects. So I look at your presentation, business plan. Of course, there is no numbers over there, but I presume most of the investment is going to be allocated for marketing. Am I right to think about this one?
Well, first, thank you for the question. And just to answer your first comment, see behind me the gummy bear. It looks amazing. And that's a nutritional supplement with a grasshopper protein, and it tastes amazing. It tastes like honey. So I think most people in Europe and the US will not have a problem consuming such a product. And that's a good start. If you remember, in the 1980s, eating raw fish was something no one will consider in Europe and the US, and today we all eat sushi. So we can change perception, although it's not easy. We know it's a big task. Regarding the numbers you asked, absolutely. Marketing and business development is the main expense. This is the main focus for the coming month.
All right. Could you send me a little bit distribution for Middle East? Do you have any expansion plan to my email? Like what's your plans to expansion countries? Because we cannot ask that questions here, but I agree with you. I look at also behind you, the picture, that kind of jellies, I think is going to kind of crack the people perception about eating insect rather than eating jelly. You have to make it a kind of fun to eat. As I mentioned, yes, we get used to sushi, but it takes our 50 years. So eating maybe grasshopper is going to take another 25 years, I'm not sure. Thank you very much. Great pitch. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the Middle East, we have the falafel I have at the back.
I know that one. I get used to that one.
It's a pity that we are not offline and cannot try your products. I think it would bring you extra points.
Can I just make a comment? Like the yak factor, whatever. I mean, you extracting the protein. Once it's a protein isolated, you just drop the grasshopper. I mean, it's a protein. It's as simple as that.
I completely agree. That's the plan. We don't need to talk about grasshoppers. Since I'm talking to investors, potential investors now, I need to explain for the consumers, we need to explain the protein.
As long as it's pure and it's digestible, it's a protein.
Yep.
I know Leah has a few hands. She wants to talk to you, but give me 1 second. The reason I was talking about, like, I'm still insist that you should use grasshoppers, but because that's organic. If you just say to me, to my thinking, you just say protein, people are going to ask behind, what's it? Is it chemical? Is it, what is it? But grasshopper is very organic. It gives you the full food. That's a matter of marketing, like this jellies or something. Like we are eating cornflakes right now. Like you don't ask, just from, you know, something useful, organic. Sorry, Lisa, interrupted. Thank you.
No problem. My question is a quick one. There's been a lot of work done here in Singapore on the 3D printing of food using crickets as the source, so that we can recreate the foods that we love, that just, they look like the foods we love, they taste like them, they crunch like them, but they are made of cockroaches and crickets. Have you done any of that kind of pilot testing in the hospital networks on 3D printed food?
We did not do such a pilot so far. However, we have a huge advantage over the crickets and the cockroaches you mentioned, because those animals have a very high fat content and also suffer from very distinct taste and flavor. So eventually, it's a big problem using them as an ingredient in food products because you have to mask the flavors. We do not have that. We have a very low fat content and neutral taste and flavor. So we are actually working now with a Singapore-based startup, and we are expecting to explore that later this year.
Okay, maybe connect to me and I can connect you with the hospital that's working on it.
Absolutely, thank you.